All right, welcome to Drew's Book Reviews. Thanks for joining us here today. So here we are. We are ready for the Netflix Book Tag Live with fellow booktubers. We got Epic Tales, Lezlie from the Nerdy Narrative, Andrew's Wizardly Reads, and Nikos Book Reviews. So take a moment, introduce yourselves, guys. We'll get right into the book tag, starting with Epic Tales.
Epic Tales back again. I'm actually so excited to be here. Like every single booktuber on this stream right now is someone that I've watched and I secretly have resentment for because they keep messing up my TBRs. And I've been really excited since Drew called me up and was like, "Let's do it." So yeah, I'm excited for this.
Awesome. All right, Andrew, introduce yourself.
Well, I'm Andrew from Andrew's Wizardly Reads. I'm a relatively new channel, only been around a couple months. I do science fiction fantasy, and I love wrecking TBRs.
Awesome. All right, Lezlie, you're up.
What up, nerds? I'm Lezlie from the Nerdy Narrative. I read everything. Everything. Nothing is safe, not even the phone book. Do they even still print phone books?
Actually, not here.
Yes.
I'll read it on my Kindle. No big deal.
All right, Nico.
Hi, I'm Nico from Nico's Book Reviews. I read mostly fantasy, as you'll find out with all of my answers to this question here. But I also enjoy wrecking TBRs. Unfortunately, I do it with my own TBR too often. So.
Hey, I think we've all done that, and I've changed mine up quite a bit. All right, awesome. So let's do the Netflix Book Tag Live. This is going to be fun. This is actually my first live stream with others on the channel, so I'm really excited about this. This is awesome. So thanks everyone for joining us here. Also, if you haven't subscribed yet, go down to the description, sub to every one of these channels. They're all awesome. So if you haven't yet, sub to this channel and sub to everybody else here because they're all awesome. All right, so question 1, Netflix book tag. Recently watched the last book you finished reading. Let's start with Nico.
So the last book I finished reading, which was actually yesterday, so it changed my answer, but was The Liar's Key by Mark Lawrence, book 2 of the Red Queen's War trilogy, which I'd been making sure to work through. And it'd been a while since I read Broken Empire, but it's been really interesting because this is kind of the interconnected sister trilogy to that one. So it's been a pretty fun time going, and it ended on a cliffhanger though, and so now I really want to read the third one, and I don't have that slated until the end of this month.
All right, Lezlie.
Wrecking your own TBR. Last Argument of Kings. I think I finished this one yesterday morning. It was absolutely fantastic. I already want to reread. I'm ready to reread the trilogy right now.
Awesome. All right, Andrew's Wizardly Reads.
Well, it depends. I slotted in an extra book into my monthly TBR, and if you define a novella as a book, it would be Breach of Peace by Daniel P. Green, who we all know. Or if we're talking book, it's going to be Mad Ship by Robin Hobb.
Excellent choice. You have great taste.
Oh, so, awesome. And I do count novellas, so
then it's going to be Breach of Peace. Fine, I'll just throw this across the room.
You hurt that book, Andrew.
We don't throw books, Andrew.
Yeah, okay, that's a big
I feel shamed. I feel attacked.
We didn't go live so you could torture books.
Exactly.
It's true.
All right, Epic, you're up.
So this is not going to be a surprise to any of you because I have to be the only booktuber that doesn't have a shelf behind me. The last book I read was Infinite Possibilities. It's a book that is by this new author, and I did recently just release the review for the book on my channel. It's a very interesting idea because it's like sci-fi versus fantasy. Like, so for anything that can be done, like with technology, there's a magical equivalent of it. So I had fun reading the book, and yeah.
That's awesome. Well, the last one I finished was Moving Pictures, although I am almost done Memories of Ice. Not quite yet, but Moving Pictures was the last one. By the way, if you haven't read Discworld, read it. It's hilarious. There's a lot. But they're so worth it.
Andrew convinced me. He reviewed Guards the other day, and I was like,
yes. Got that
All
right here.
Yep,
Good
Look at
job,
that.
Andrew.
It's gorgeous.
it is.
Moving Pictures
Excellent.
is actually on my May TBR, so that's my next pub order one. So I'm looking forward to it. Then I can watch your review.
Yeah.
I think I'm doing Men at Arms next this month.
Well, I tried to keep Moving Pictures spoiler free, but I mean, even if you spoil a Terry Pratchett Discworld book, you're probably still going to be fine because they're hilarious
Yeah.
and well worth it. All right. So
Million to one chance you're gonna like it.
yeah, exactly. All right. So, prompt number 2, top picks, a book or books that have been recommended to you based on a book that you have previously read. So I'll go first on this one. I would have to say it's right over here. Leviathan Wakes.
Ooh.
This
Great.
I've been hearing so much about this on BookTube and people talking about the show and the books. I had to buy the series and love it. Absolutely love it. This is probably one of the best sci-fi books I've read in a long time. I'm so pumped to get through the rest of the series. So yeah, Leviathan Wakes. Awesomeness. All right, Epic, you're up next.
So it's The Emperor's Blade. I haven't read it yet, but Julian reads. I told her I was trying to get into more grimdark, and like she kind of nice, and she told me that I absolutely have to read Emperor's Blade. That if I like the first law, I'll probably like it. So yeah, I'm really really excited to read it.
Well, that's awesome. Make sure you tell us all about it once you do. All right, Andrew's Wizardly Reads, you're up.
All right, this is kind of a cascading problem. So let me move my Malcolm Reynolds gun. And so I read Dune because of Mike over at Mike's Book Reviews. Then he said, if you like that, you should read Empire of Silence. Then I was talking to the author, and he's like, if you like that, you should read Book of the New Sun. So we're going to start with Book of the New Sun. This is kind of a 2-book omnibus by Gene
like
Wolfe.
Book Inception.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, Leslie, you're up.
Mongrels by Stephen Graham Jones. I read The Only Good Indians, and then immediately people were telling me I needed to read Mongrels. I'm actually going to read everything this man ever wrote in his life, including his grocery list. But next up is Mongrels. It's an interesting take on werewolves. So I have to know. I haven't read it yet. It's on the TBR for this month, so I am super excited for this one.
Hey,
I'm
werewolves
interested to
are
hear your
always
thoughts.
awesome.
Oh yeah.
All right, Nico, you're up.
So I thought about going with David Gemmell because I had a lot of recommendations there, but I went with the most recent one, which is the Long Price Quartet by Daniel Abraham, which I do still need to read. I got the omnibus version, but I first heard about this on Alan's channel, and then I was talking to a bunch of people in Slowly Red's channel, and they were like, oh my gosh, you like Hobb and you like some other slow burn stuff, read it. So I'm really, really excited. It's it's one I definitely need to get to because it sounds like it's right up my alley, which is kind of that slow, really, really well written type story. So
Yep.
I'm
It's
very
on my
excited.
TBR too.
I bought it
read
'cause
that
of
one
Alan.
I read that one
Yeah.
a long time ago, but I do have it. Maybe I'll reread it one day. All right. So, prompt number 3, recently added. What is the last book that you bought? We'll start with Nico.
So the last book, and technically I think I bought a few at half price books after this, but the last book that arrived at my house is what I went with to narrow it down. And that was The Trouble with Peace by Joe Abercrombie. I haven't started Age of Madness yet. I still need to read Red Country, but I've gotten both this and the first one pretty much brand new for $5 on sale at different times. And so I'm like, I couldn't pass that up. So I was pretty happy with that.
That's awesome. That is one I'm definitely going to be buying. So not yet, but will be. You can bet it will be. All right, Lezlie, you're up.
I got book 2 in the Thrawn Ascendancy trilogy, Greater Good. Cannot wait to read this one.
I need to read the new Thrawn books. I've only read the old stuff.
That
Oh,
is
I've
such
been
a
meaning
cool
to get
cover.
more Star Wars
Yeah.
books. One of these days, maybe I'll get through all the Star Wars books, but I'll have to
There's
keep my
a
eye out
lot.
for that one. Yeah, there's a
I-
huge amount.
I feel like I want to read more Star Wars books, but I read so many bad ones when I was younger that it's kind of made me
There's
hesitant.
no such thing as a bad Star Wars book.
There
Yeah,
is.
Have you ever-
there kind of is.
Have you ever
There
read
is.
the
I'm sorry,
Glove
man.
of Darth
I'm
Vader?
sorry, there is.
I don't think I've read that one, but my problem with Star Wars books is I have a hard time reviewing them because everyone already knows the characters for the most part, especially if you're reading like the Luke and the Obi-Wan books and, Han Solo book. Everyone knows these characters. What do I have to add to this?
Well, just read it for enjoyment. Do you review every book? Do you read?
A lot of them, yeah. Well, usually.
I don't.
I only do 4 reviews a month. 4
Yeah,
dedicated book reviews a month.
same.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Andrew, you're up. What was the last book you bought?
Well, I went to Half Price Books and I bought 3 at the same time, so I don't remember the order in which the cashier scanned them.
That's very important. Go get your receipt and look at the timestamps.
So I got Kevin J. Anderson's Spine of the Dragon.
Ooh.
And then I've never heard anything about these, but I got John Holland's book 1 and 2, The Dragon Lords. I think this is False Fool or Fool's Gold, and then False Idols. Sorry, I jumbled the names.
That's
Let's
a cool
face it,
cover.
it's dragons are involved.
Yeah, it's like
it's almost
Dragons
an
meets
automatic
Guardian
Oh,
of the
I need to know.
Galaxy. So that's how it was sold to me.
You'll have to tell us
It's
about
got the
it.
word dragon.
Oh, I will.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Epic, you're up. What was the last book you bought?
The last book I bought was Rage of Dragons. Like I've heard so many conflicting thoughts on like the main character, and so my best thing about books is always the character. So like I want to see what I would actually feel, what I would actually like get out of like reading about this character. And I also heard like it was like the setup is in Africa as well. So
Yep.
like being African, I want to see how he was able to pull it off.
Oh, it's wonderful.
It's wonderful, eh?
It is wonderful. That's one of my favorite reads of 2020.
I fell on the
Yeah.
opposite side.
Yeah,
For
and I
real?
binged Fires of Vengeance in less than 24 hours.
I've
Wow.
got that on
Okay.
pre-order for the paperback for Fires of Vengeance right now, so I'm really looking forward to getting to that series for sure.
Well, if
Now,
Lezlie
Lezlie.
says a book is good, it's good, man. Like
Did you like the Poppy
going
War
with
as well?
Did I like?
Andrew, we can't go there online.
They say if you like one, you're bound to like the other. And if you don't like one, you're not going to like the other.
Oh, there you go. All right. So last ones I bought. Here we go. The stuff I'm giving away.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you're watching,
I want
right
the
now,
Hitchhikers.
tune in on May 16th. We're going to be giving away this stuff. So I got the Brandon Sanderson Mistborn trilogy, complete tales and poems of Edgar Allan Poe, The Hero with a Thousand Faces, and of course, Hitchhiker's Guide. So you got to tune in on May 16th for the giveaway to see who wins. That's going to be so much fun.
Has anyone here read The Heroes with a Thousand Faces?
I have not.
have
you.
It's such a book to read. Like it's so it's so different, and it's very technical because it's trying to talk about like very psychological elements of writing, and like it's very interesting to read if you're into that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
And by the way, I want you to know, like I'm manifesting those Mistborn trilogy. Every day I'm just looking at a position at my desk and I'm just seeing it there. So like I better win that draw.
All right. Well, we'll see what you could do, but you're up against like 6 other people right now, I think. So
I've got the Hitchhikers. I've got a spot on my bookshelf just slotted for it.
all right, perfect. All right. So next up, popular on Netflix, books that everyone knows about, you've read, or 2 that you've read, 2 you haven't read or have no interest in reading. So I'll start with that one. We'll go with the Fires of Vengeance book. Oh, what was the first? Rage of Dragons and
Rage of
Fires of
Dragons.
Vengeance. That's it. Those are 2. Everyone's been talking about it. I'm totally going to be reading those ones. Absolutely, 100%. In terms of books that I keep hearing about, everyone seems to be reading, but I have no interest. I'm probably going to say the Murderbot Diaries. I don't know why.
Same.
I I've seen so many booktubers talking about it, but I mean, sure, the concept sounds interesting, but I haven't really heard anything in the reviews that make me go, "Oh, I've got to get those books and read them." Maybe one day, but not really that interested in them.
Yeah.
All right, you're up, Epic. Books everyone's talking about. 2 you want to read, 2 that you have no interest in reading.
So I can't really, if I watch a review of a book and I have no interest in reading it, like it literally just evaporates from my mind. Like I lose the memory of it. So I have like 2 books I have read that everyone is talking about, like The First Law. And I really like, if Lezlie, if you ever review like The First Law, I'd actually like to see what you say. And Prince of Thorns, it was Andrew that recommended that to me. Like I binged it in like a day and a half, and I loved it so much. Like Mark Lawrence is, if that was his first book, I can't wait for like the next ones, you know. And like 2 I have not read, but I really want to read is I don't know. I feel like I'm the only one on BookTube that hasn't like gotten into Brandon Sanderson yet.
You are.
So yeah, I know.
How dare you?
And how dare me, right? Like
The capital sin.
This is the source of my imposter syndrome, I'm telling you. But anyway, I really want to read Mistborn. I really want to read Way of Kings, and I really want to get into it, like Brendan Sanderson. Everything I've heard so far is like.
Start with the Elantris. Just start with the Elantris.
Yeah,
Don't start anywhere else and go back. Just,
I told him to
do
start with
Elantris on
Mistborn,
audio.
which is why he wants to win it.
Do Elantris on audio. You'll thank me later.
it'll put you straight to sleep.
I mean, still attack.
You'll recover. You'll recover. All right.
It'll feel better once it quits hurting.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Andrew, you're up next.
Okay, so I've got so many series that I'm so excited to start. I bought most of them. Things that everybody knows about. Our good friend Brian Lee Durfee. I can't wait to get into this.
Same.
I'm mad that book 3 hasn't come out, because if book 3 was out, I would just drop everything and binge the entire series, even if I liked it or didn't like it. And then another one. Oh God, go back. That I have heard great things about is the Foundation trilogy. I want to read that just because I've heard nothing but good things about Asimov. Nothing such as like watching grass grow or paint dry. So I haven't heard any of those. But 2 that I have no interest, and Lezlie, I'm not attacking you, but it's gonna be Rage of Dragons, and it's
wow.
And one
I'm waiting for his lips to stop moving.
And one that I got 5 books into and I have no interest in continuing is The Witcher.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
that's mine for no interest whatsoever.
I read that whole series, but I did find it a bit dry for.
You got through the whole series? You're my hero.
I have this problem. I can't not complete a series. I have a really hard time DNFing. It will drive me crazy saying, you left it half done. How could you do that? And it's
easy.
When I first joined Nikos Discord, this is before my channel, I used to just rant about The Witcher. That's all I would do.
Yeah, the TV show's good. I enjoy the TV show.
Well,
that's because Henry Cavill's amazing.
He is.
Awesome. All right, Lezlie, you're up.
So my 2 that I am not interested in, Drew, you mentioned one, Murderbot, no interest there. And then my other one was The Witcher. I like the TV series and the video games. I'm just going to stick with what I like. I've just heard a lot of people that I trust didn't like The Witcher, so I'm staying away. But 2 that I want to read that I haven't yet, that everybody else has except for Epic, is Mistborn.
Yes.
I've not read The Final Empire, and another really big one, Name of the Wind. Have not read that one yet. So I'm very excited.
I'd put Name of the Wind just above The Witcher. Witcher was Name of the Wind, just good enough for me to want to read more, but not great.
Wow. You're the first person that I've heard of not like it.
Well,
just make that
faithful
I
my
liked
answer.
it. I just didn't love it.
I rage quit the sequel, Wise Man's Fear. I got mad.
I think we've all been mad at a book
Andrew's
at
an
some point.
emotional reader.
I am.
It's true.
I bet you scare people in your house when you read.
Okay.
You know what? I
listen.
was telling
Throwing books,
I don't
was-
throw my
cursing out
book.
the characters.
I do that.
I was
I was
telling
this
I was
close to
telling
throwing Bill
Andrew
before.
I would love to watch a rant review on his channel. Just
Nah,
like
not doing
rant.
it.
I want something purely emotional from the heart, you know.
You know what? I'm giving you a compromise. I am going to be doing a 5 series that I just DNF'd.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, that'll be
but-
interesting to watch.
Yes, 100%.
All right, Nico, you're up.
So the two series that everybody's heard of and is super familiar with, both of which I happen to love. I did Wheel of Time and Stormlight.
Oh,
I'm a massive Wheel of Time fan, if you can't tell from the bookshelf,
Yep.
and big Brandon Sanderson fan as well.
Oh, both
So-
are awesome.
It's they both have, Jordan and Sanderson both have their own shelf on a big
Same.
shelf in the back.
Oh.
So that's those, everybody knows about them. I probably talk about them too much. I try not to, because I know everybody knows about them, even if they haven't read them yet. But those are my two there. Now I went controversial for mine that I have no interest in. One of them being Name of the Wind, because I will not try it unless it ever actually gets finished. Just from what I've heard, I feel like I'll probably like the prose, but just kind of not be super interested otherwise. And the other one, which I DNF'd mid Feast for Crows, is A Song of Ice and Fire, because I hate George R.R. Martin and the way he writes a lot.
If you're looking for good prose, just read this.
Wow.
I used to actually, back when I was in high school, that was long before I ever thought about BookTube being a thing. But at that point, I had a friend of mine who wanted to record me ranting about how much I hated George R.R. Martin's writing style, because I used to go on so much. The story's good. I just cannot stand the way he writes it. So,
no, I don't read the guy because I don't know when he's ever going to release the final books, and I don't want to read and then get to that point and join like the millions of fans just waiting.
Now they'll find someone to finish it. They always do, right?
Yeah.
Well, he's
who
already
did
met
you
read?
with another author and his wife and discussed his plans for the ending. So it's out there.
Oh,
Didn't
I
you-
But
thought
it's
he
not his
went on
favorite
record.
series. He likes his other series that he writes much better, so that's where he spends his time.
Well, yeah. Well,
I heard a
we'll
rumor
see.
that Brandon Sanderson just wrote it last weekend for it to take a break, but
I don't know how Sanderson writes so quickly. I just don't get it, but it's awesome.
He says it's just through a structured lifestyle.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw his video on that, but even with the time he dedicates to it, I'm so like, how do you still write so fast with only that 4 hours a day?
Well,
But,
I mean, if you look at his earlier stuff, he threw out like 7 books. He wrote them and just threw them away.
Like the Way of Kings Prime.
Yeah.
Very different. It was interesting to read the first draft, so I would definitely recommend reading that after the Stormlight. All right. So our next prompt, comedies, a funny book. Nico, a funny book.
So I went with, and I don't have because it's not out yet, but I just finished the e-arc for it, The Black Tongue Thief by Christopher Buehlman. I was told it was grimdark, and that was the description. I was not expecting it to just be hilarious all throughout. There were very early on and from front to back just all kinds of just jokes and the main character narrating everything, and it was the most I've chuckled reading a book in quite some time. So it was a very fun read.
Awesome. Funny is always good. Funny is what you read when you need a break from Malazan. I'm just putting that out there.
Hey, Malazan can be funny.
Or you need to get out of a reading slump.
I admit I did get a good chuckle just when I read about, dragging somebody along the ground with them, realizing their legs have been left behind. That actually made me laugh. That's not a spoiler, just so everyone knows. I mean, it's Malazan. And all right, Lezlie, you're up. Funny book that you've read.
The Martian by Andy Weir. This was not like any kind of book I would ever be interested in. I was doing a readathon and it was the group read, so I picked it up. And it was right after I finished Ruin and the Faithful and the Fallen series. And I was devastated. Devastated. Like, I haven't been that hurt over an ending of a book in years. And I just came up here and I was just standing around looking at my books like, well, what am I going to read? And I'm like, well, I guess I'll try this book for my readathon. And by page 2, I was in love and I laughed this entire book. So I love it. And anytime I need to break a reading slump, I pull that one out.
It's on my to be read list. I look forward to getting to that one.
It's fantastic.
All right, Andrew, you're up.
Listen, there's 1,000,000 to 1 chance you won't find it funny. It's gonna be Guards. That is a joke that will make sense once you've read it.
No.
Oh, that's why you were throwing the book at him.
Yeah. It's just so funny. It's when this book I mentioned in my review, but I always thought that Discworld was just like slapstick humor, but it's got the humor in there, like it's definitely throughout, but it's also got a really good fantasy story in here as well. And it's got great character development. It makes sense. And the humor in here is just very, very British. So that's probably why Alan loves it.
Yeah.
I love it. I will forever think of popcorn as banged grains after reading Moving Pictures.
You're making me more excited to read that.
No.
But I literally read this book and then went and bought 12 more.
Wow.
As you should.
Yeah.
Wow.
As you should.
I only
It's
need
so
12
funny.
more to complete my collection. I'm getting close.
Awesome. All right, Epic, you're up. A funny book.
Well, like mine is a classic. It's Good Omens by Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett. That book kills me every time. Terry Pratchett is just like he's brilliant. Like almost everything he writes, I love. Like he's one of those writers. I don't need to watch a review. I just like pick up his book and I always have a good time reading it.
Oh, I
Love
love
that book
Good Omens.
so
I love
much,
the
so
concept
much.
of Good Omens. I mean, come on. An angel of the devil and an angel of God have to work together to save the Antichrist. I mean, the concept is hilarious.
My favorite line in the book didn't make it into the show, and I was devastated.
The show was really good though too. I saw the show and then read the book and then watched the show again with my wife, and like they complemented each other. It just felt like really well. The
See, I
the
was
book
flip-flop.
definitely had more, but it's like the show did such a good job with a lot of details, even though they did change some things. So I love both.
Yeah,
Totally.
it's so good.
Yeah, absolutely. What funny book for me, without fail, has got to be The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, a trilogy in 5 parts. Now, Lezlie, you said you didn't know Marvin. This needs to be rectified.
I DNF'd Hitchhiker's Guide years and years
Really?
and years ago.
You've got
Watch
to
the
pick that
movie
up.
at least.
DNF Hitchhiker's Guide. It's
It's
hilarious.
super short.
Exactly. How do you not finish that? It's hilarious.
So I read a little bit and then I didn't read anymore. That's how I didn't finish.
To be fair, to come to Leslie's defense, when I was reading that book, like it was over before like I was ready for it to be over, and I was actually mad.
Hey,
No, you don't get mad at books.
Okay, I was disappointed.
okay.
I feel scolded. I feel like I should go to my room and think about what I've done.
I almost threw Rhythm of War across the room when I was reading it, so I get mad at books. I had to stop myself. So I've been there,
I
done
threw
that.
Assassin's Apprentice. Sure.
I feel like Royal Assassin did break me a little bit reading that. That was oof.
What? Listen, Royal Assassin is a tale of wonder and delight.
It's Robin Hobb is just the nicest to all of her characters.
Yeah,
Lots
yeah.
of sunshine and
It's
rainbows.
rainbows and puppies.
All right.
Um,
Sounds good. All right. Prompt number 6. Dramas. A character who is a drama queen or king. So I'll start this one. Can I just say, if it's an anime character, it fits? Anime is so over the top. With so
I think
many
you've
different
offended
characters.
Same answer.
No. Like if I had a book answer to what he was gonna say, but like if he brings anime into it, there's some anime characters I'm gonna like call out right now.
They're all drama kings and queens in anime.
Thank you,
He's-
Leslie.
you see-
Every
you see-
one of them.
No.
Because
You know what?
the
You're right.
worst is Evangelion. There will be like 5 minutes straight of two characters staring at each other awkwardly, no dialogue.
Oh,
I
Yeah.
thought I was on drugs when I watched Evangelion.
I'm like, did my screen freeze? I'm like, start, stop. I'm like, oh.
I watched that back when I was 19, and I was super confused.
So the thing about anime, you're right. Every single character, both the male and female, are all dramatic. But then when one of them stands out as dramatic, it's bad, man. It's really, really bad.
so when they're super melodramatic and not just melodramatic.
Yes, pretty much.
All right, Epic. What character fits that for you?
Sakura in Naruto. Watch my Naruto rant, like Sasuke cool.
I did. Awesome.
Breaks my heart every time she does it. It's just like way too much. And yes, like I was just done with it like within the first like 5 episodes. And I think Naruto goes up to like how many episodes? Like maybe like 400 or 500 maybe. But in the first 5 5 episodes, I was like, I can't do this, man. She's too much.
Oh, I watched enough anime for my lifetime. For me, all right, Andrew, you're up. A drama.
All right, I'm
king
jumping
of
on this because I'm afraid that Nico's going to steal it. And I would like to introduce you to Malta.
Oh my god.
I was hoping I'd go first.
Ronica, that whole stinking half of that book, I'm like, Ronica, just give her up. Forget trying to get the gold. Give her up.
Yeah,
Be rid
it's
of her.
Malta. Malta Haven.
Oh,
She gets better, but it's rough. It's rough going.
I look
I
forward to
didn't hate her
getting
by
to
the
it.
end of book 2. I picked a
Awesome.
backup book
I was-
because I knew you'd pick that too. So
Oh yeah, no, I was just like, okay, thank God I went first.
Awesome. All right, Leslie, you're up.
I have to go with Giselle from the First Law trilogy.
That's
That's a
actually such
great
good
choice.
pick. That's a great pick. That's such a great pick.
Now Nico's going for his third pick.
Oh, there you go.
It's okay. We can have the same character, guys.
Well, I went with another Hob character and decided I would just do Galen from Farseer. I mean, it's between him and Regal, but Galen just kind of was
Regal.
so over the top with everything. And so I'm like, I'll do a second dramatic character from a Robin Hobb story if I didn't get Malta first. So Malta definitely is the biggest, teenage drama queen character, though.
Oh,
100%.
she's not even a teenager, I think. She's a preteen.
Yeah,
she was like
yeah,
12.
She was like 12. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
I know
just
it's not
wanted
right to hate a
read it.
12-year-old, but
She's asking for it repeatedly, demanding it.
Well,
I mean,
no, that's
You
a
talk-
spoiler.
I've-
I almost shouted out a spoiler and then had
I've
to stop myself.
literally never read a child that would work as birth control until Malta. And I'm sitting there going, this is not making me rethink my decision to not have children.
It's too late for me.
I just want to say, as someone who has a preteen and a teen, drama can ensue.
Oh, man.
Not this bad.
All
Malta
right.
yeah.
is the worst.
Well, I
Lord.
definitely have to make sure I get to reading that then. All right. Prompt number 7. Animate a book with cartoons on the cover. Starting with you, Nico.
So I only had one thing that fit this. So I did Weavers by John Walker.
I was gonna do that.
I wasn't sure. I also figured this might be one that I might not have to do first, but I don't really have anything else that has cartoons on it. But this is actually Walker Wright 7 is a booktuber as well, and recently read this. It's really good. I don't read a ton of YA, but it's like a super character driven and non-tropey YA. Really, really well done.
It was
So
very
it's
well done.
it's at this point that we all realize that wrecking each other's TBRs has put us in a conundrum of picking the same books. But I have a different one. So
Did you
That's
have
good.
waivers on your TBR?
no, but I used Check Please. It's a graphic novel, but a novel is a book. So that's the
No.
one I went with.
Whatever happened to calling them good old fashioned comic books? It's all graphic novel now.
I have some comic books actually.
I think it depends on length.
Yeah.
And so how many? Yeah, we could debate how many pages makes it a graphic novel versus a comic book on another stream, maybe. All right, so Andrew, you're up.
I'm gonna cheat a little bit because I don't want to use waivers. It's a fantastic book, but I did get these gorgeous editions of The Hobbit by Alan Lee, and if you notice right there, we got a little Bilbo.
That counts.
We'll let you have it.
Yeah, we'll let you have that one.
Which is why I'm doing my channel giveaway, because I got these.
Nice.
Awesome.
Oh, that's
Awesome.
the collection. That's the newer one, the newer collection you got.
Yeah, this is the new one.
I think I
pre-ordered
prefer the old
special
one, though.
edition.
Really?
Yeah.
The old one is super beautiful. It is heavier. It's basically a Bible. If you imagine one of those old family Bibles
Mhm.
that like your parents had on the side table that you could brain intruders with.
Yeah, but
It's like that heavy.
But like,
So-
but like, that's what the Lord of the Rings is like too. Like in the fantasy world, like at least in my opinion. So it just
So-
like works.
That made me laugh because this last year, prior to Rhythm of War coming out, I was doing a Stormlight reread, and to make sure I read as quickly as possible, I was bringing the books with me everywhere. So I had
Oh.
Oathbringer with the dust jacket off, and I was carrying it around, and I was at like a dentist appointment, and Libby's like, "Oh, you're reading the Bible?" Like legitimately thought it was a Bible, and I'm like, "No, it's an epic fantasy novel." She's like, "Oh, okay."
Well, you know, it's thick enough of a book. I mean, no
Yeah.
surprise there, right? All right, Epic, you're up. Book with the
Well,
cartoon.
The last book I reviewed on my channel, like Infinite Possibilities. It's a graph. I think it has a cool cover of in the middle of battle, and like there are like dead orcs around, and there's a badass character in the front. Like I read ebooks, so like yeah, like I can't show it to you, but like yeah, it's a cartoon.
It's all good. All right. Well, I'm going with White Sands, the Cosmere graphic
That's
novel.
a rare book.
Oh, I have the dark. I have, what is it? The dark one. I've got that one, but I haven't read it yet.
I've got that on pre-order. I haven't got that yet. I've heard that a lot of people don't seem to like this of Cosmere fans,
Yeah.
but I had to have it to complete my Cosmere collection. So I thought, what the heck? I'm going to grab it. I'm going to read it. I'll get to it eventually, but got all three of them. White Sands.
Well, if you don't like them, I'll take them.
Well, maybe I'll throw it in the
one.
next giveaway then.
I had the first one until I realized that it was extremely hard to get and worth a lot of money, and I sold it on eBay because I was one of the people who didn't like it very much. But
Yeah, I've
Get
heard
paid
a
for
lot
more
of people don't
books.
seem
If
to like
you're
that
not
one.
going to like it, then just disregard my comment. Usually Nico and I run along the same lines.
I'll keep that in mind. All right. Prompt number 8. Watch it again. A book or book series that you want to reread. So I'll start with this one, and I'm going to tell you every single time. Stormlight Archive. You can bet I'm going to reread that series every single time leading up to the next book release. And then once all 10 are out and I'm done reading all 10, I'll probably go back and read it again. Love Stormlight Archive. I'm obsessed with it. I go to sleep at night to Stormlight Archive. I will listen to it on Audible. I will reread it. I love it. I cannot get enough of it.
So
All right, Epic, you're up.
For me, like that the book is The Traveler's Gate. I have been recommending it to Andrew. I don't know if he's picked it up well, but the writer
Will White.
Will White. Oh my God! Like
It's on my TBR.
it's-
Still haven't bought it yet.
He's one of the best writers, in my opinion, right? Writing fight scenes, and the way he like sets up his magic system is just so good. I haven't read Mistborn yet, and because a lot of people say like the magic system in Mistborn is really good, but The Traveler's Gate is so good, and like it's he's one of the best at writing fight scenes. Like it's when I'm reading the fight scenes, I'm like literally in there. Like he describes it very well. And every time I read like his books, I think I've read The Traveler's Gate like 4 times already.
Oh wow.
So like I read it. It's just such a fun book to read, and I'll probably keep reading it for a long time.
Awesome. I might have to take note of that and put it on my list. All right, Andrew, you're up.
Well, I've got 2 very different books. One I've read 8 times, and one I've only read once. So I'm due for a reread of this very shiny edition of The
Yep.
Wheel of Time. I've
I
read
love
this 8
that
times.
Not.
Then I would love to reread The Faithful and the Fallen
Yes.
because I just love this series so much. Honestly, since joining BookTube, this is the series that I have enjoyed the most.
I would have to agree with you because that's the one that I kind of came out swinging with when I started my channel. Nobody was talking about it, and Mike's book review started reading it like right
Mhm.
after I did, and that's how he and I met, was through those books.
Mike's awesome.
And then it's just snowballed, and to this day I have like 3 people that DM me as they're reading through the series. So
Really, that's cool. I'm currently reading A Time of Blood.
I just
is that
ordered
the first one?
all of John Gwynn's
That's the
books.
second one in the
Second,
second
okay.
trilogy.
I just
say,
ordered
Andrew
all of
got me
John
on
Gwynn
Faithful
books
Fallen.
yesterday. Or not yesterday, on the
I
30th.
insisted.
I'll get to them soon. All right, Lezlie,
It's a
you're
good
up.
call.
Books that you're going to reread.
Books that I will reread. I'm going to stick with series because I love series. Books, let's see. I have read Wheel of Time. I don't know how many times. Sword of Truth. Faithful
Sword
and
of
the
Truth, love it.
Fallen. The Dresden Files. I mean, those
Sword of
are
Truth.
just constantly working through rereads on those. And
That's very
some
good,
right
Gwen.
now.
I think Sword of Truth was the first major epic fantasy series that I read. And I will get back to rereading it eventually. Not sure when, but I do plan on doing that for sure.
Mhm.
All right, Nico, you're up.
So I too have read Wheel of Time, over a dozen times, mostly in its entirety, even the last few books several times too. I also have reread Stormlight before every release too, so definitely could identify with that. I picked a different one that I haven't reread though, and that I actually really want to, especially because right now everybody's talking about it and making me want to go back, and that is Malazan,
Yes.
because I only read it once, and it took me like a year to finish this series. I've never struggled with a series so much. Because I feel like every book I would not be into it at all until the halfway point, and then I couldn't put it down. And I think it's definitely worth it because overall it's such a spectacular and just amazing series with what he accomplishes. But I feel like I would appreciate it so much more the second time through, just because it took me so long to get through the first time. So
I was thinking that too. I'm thinking once I'm done, I'm going to have to go back. I'm going to get it on Audible and listen to it after I've read through the first time, but I'm probably not going to finish Malazan until probably the end of 2022. I got to
I'm
take a
normally
couple
such
months
fast
between
reader.
books.
But yeah, I can knock out the Wheel of Time in like a month or two in its entirety, but Malazan took me a long time. So
Well, I'm going to date myself. The Sword of Truth series, A Song of Ice and Fire, and Wheel of Time, I've been with since their first book came out.
Okay, well, Wheel of the Eye of the World came out the year I was born.
I could be your mother.
It
I
came out
can't even.
February 1990.
Yep.
I can't even remember when I first read those books and how long they'd been out, but I do remember loving them.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I was a little baby teenager.
All right. So prompt number 9, documentaries, a nonfiction book that you would recommend to everybody. Nico.
Oh, I just realized I went out of order on that last one. My bad. So
No worries.
I didn't mean to switch with Lezlie, but so I don't really read a lot of nonfiction because I mostly read fantasy. But I looked around my office for a book, and this is technically nonfiction, and I haven't actually read this in years. But I have a book called The 1001 Dumbest Things Ever Said, which is a collection of really, really dumb things people said, and it is like it's all real quotes. Here, I just randomly opened it. Barry Beck, a New York Ranger, said, "We have only one person to blame, and that's each other." and it's just full of just dumb quotes.
Hey, the title itself sounds hilarious.
It's really good. I don't even know if it's still in print because this is a really, really old book, but I don't even know where I got this. I've had this for many years, and I actually am gonna have to like probably go through and read through just because there's a lot of good stuff in here.
Awesome. Lezlie, you're up.
I would have to say Round Ireland with a Fridge. This book is hysterical. It's the author is a comedian named Tony Hawks. And
Hello.
I have literally how I found this book, I was at a coffee shop and this guy was sitting behind my friend and I, and he was just by himself and he kept cracking up, belly laughing. And we kept looking and looking and looking. We thought he was laughing at us. And then we realized that he had a book. And finally he looked up and saw us looking at him. And he's like, I'm sorry, this book is so funny. And so Tony and his best friend got drunk and made a bet, which Tony lost. And as a result, he had to hitchhike the circumference of Ireland in, I believe it was a month, 30 days, while carrying a mini fridge. And
What the? Oh my god!
hijinks ensued. So I would definitely recommend this one because it is hysterical.
That sounds hysterical.
Did he have to do
That's
it?
great.
Did he have to do it on like walking?
Yeah, he had to literally hitchhike.
Wow! Wow!
And so
okay.
he carried the little mini fridge on a little dolly. And he
Yeah.
got to be really famous for it too. He still is on he got picked up by, as he was going around meeting people, a radio show heard about him and started calling him and checking in with him every day. And he actually still goes on and visits with that show here and there.
That's awesome. Now I might have to look into that. All right, Andrew, you're up.
This is a book that I don't own anymore, mainly because I lost my copy between like 6 moves. It is the only autobiography I've ever read in full, and that is going to be Leonard Nimoy's I Am Spock.
Oh,
I
I've
absolutely-
been wanting that one.
I love it. It basically details the majority of his time on Star Trek, but it also deals with the fact of like having to deal with the fact that he was Spock and getting typecast in the role, and he had to go to stage. He couldn't come back to TV. It deals with his young childhood. It deals with the hijinks William Shatner got up to. Apparently, he was a massive prankster on set. It deals with all the drama that, you know, because he was Spock and he knew how the character was, how it affected his life, his home life, because sometimes the best way to stay as Spock was to stay in character at home.
Oh.
And so it drove his wife
Wow!
batty.
Wow!
doubt.
And then just all sorts of stuff, like how the directors and writers kept trying to change Spock, and like he kept saying this is a bad idea. Effectively, at one point, he walked off the lot and quit, and they had to get him back. Like it's all sorts of cool stuff.
Apparently, Patrick Stewart was quite the prankster on set as well. Maybe it's something about being cast in the captain's role. I don't know.
Spock wasn't captain.
All right, Epic, you're up.
Don't trigger the Trekkies.
Hey, I meant Shatner being the prankster and Stewart being the prankster. Yeah.
Fair
All
enough.
right, you're up, Epic.
Have any of you read the book Never Split the Difference?
I've heard of it, but haven't read it.
It's such a good book to read. It teaches like negotiation skills, and apparently the guy who wrote the book, Chris Voss, he used to do like hostage situation. He used to be like a hostage negotiator. So like anytime there was a bank robbery, and they needed someone to negotiate with the bank robbers, or even like when like dictators kidnapped American citizens, like he was the one that they would basically send to like negotiate something to save them. So his book is basically talking about like his techniques and like some stories of like high risk, high adrenaline moments where like he made a decision, or he used one of the skills and how it worked, and like how to use it in negotiation in real life. So it's a really, really good book to read, and it's a fun book to read as well. So yeah.
Awesome. That sounds like it would be pretty interesting for sure. Now, the one book that I've got that I'd recommend, it's called A Crack in Creation. This is actually a really fascinating book about CRISPR and genetic engineering technology. It was written by Jennifer Doudna and Samuel H. Sternberg, who are the ones that developed the CRISPR gene editing technique to begin with. It's really an interesting read getting into the technology, how it works, and the possible ramifications, both the moral and ethical dilemmas imposed by genetic engineering, and how the tool can be used for tremendous good, but it could also be used for bad if we're not careful about how we're going to implement this tool, and making sure that we're all on the same page, that we don't, inadvertently breed a race of superhumans to dominate us all, kind of thing, which is really is a great book, especially if you're into genetic engineering. So it's a crack in creation.
You know what? As long as Will Smith is alive, I'm not worried. He always takes care of everything. So,
well, we just might need to call on him if the bad guys ever genetically engineer superhumans to conquer the world. We'll keep that in mind.
They already did a movie about it. It's called Gemini Man.
Independence Day. It's good.
All right, awesome. All right, prompt number 10: action and adventure, an action-packed book. I'll start this one. I'm going to have to go with The Memory of Light and The Wheel of Time because it happens to be one I'm rereading right now. And honestly, that whole book is just basically one massive last battle from start to finish. I mean, there's definitely breaks in the action, but the whole book is like the last battle on basically 6 different fronts simultaneously. And so it's constantly switching between the viewpoints of the different battles that make up the entire last battle. I'm loving it. It's just, of course, don't read Memory Light if you haven't read the previous 13. Go read the previous 13 first, then read Memory of Light. But that is definitely an action-packed book, and I can't wait to finish it up and do my video on it. All right, epic.
So there are several books I could go with here. I've already mentioned The Traveler's Gate, so I will not mention The Traveler's Gate, although technically I just did. But I kind of also got the same vibe from The Last Argument of Kings. Like, there was a war in the north, there was a war
everywhere.
Everywhere there was something happening. So The Last Argument of Kings was it was action packed, and it was one of I kind of preferred it when it wasn't. Like, I preferred the previous book when it wasn't, but then I also kind of enjoyed it as well. But then I'm not going to go with The Last Argument of King. That's just an honorable mention. What I'm going to go for is Cradle, the Cradle series, Will White as well. Again, like, y'all need to get on Will White. I'm telling you.
I got
the
series. I've just got to read it.
So let me tell you, if you're going to read the Cradle series, like, the first book is the worst, but it's not bad. But the first book, if you read the first book and it's like, I don't know if I'm into this. You read the second, you're like, okay, it's not bad. The third book, you're like, okay, I think I like this. The fourth book, okay, then like that's when it's like this is I love this. So it's action packed, and yeah, like, y'all need to get on Will White, man. I'm gonna be the first. I'm gonna put his name on the map. But anyway, yeah.
Well, awesome. All right, Andrew, you're up.
Deadhouse Gates by Steven Erikson.
No argument for me on that.
This is the entire 70% of this book is just a pitched battle, a moving battle. It is so action packed, and the ending is just. I'm still not okay, and it's been 2 months, and I'm still not okay.
See, that's why I need a break between books for that series. I can't just jump into the next one.
Malazan is such a wow, so heavy to I feel like such a heavy book to read, but then it's so good at the same time,
So far, this is my favorite. I've only read the first 3, but this is my favorite.
Still, the Chain of Dogs plotline from that book is one of my favorite all-time plot lines.
It's so
general.
good.
Oh yeah,
I loved it. It was it had so many things, and that's still. I love that plot line so much. And there's a lot of great plot lines in Malazan in a lot of books, but just out of books in general.
Yeah.
Love that plot line.
I have to say, I love the little headless gag on the Ship of the Dead that I did for my review on that. If you haven't watched that, go check out my Deadhouse Gates review.
I'll have to go check it.
That was just too much fun. I doing a whole little headless gag on the Ship of the Dead thing. If you've read the book, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you haven't read the book, go read the book, then watch my review. That was fun.
Read Gardens of the Moon first.
Yes, read
Yeah.
Gardens of the Moon first. Absolutely. All right, Lezlie, action-packed book.
That would have to be
Oh,
Golden
yeah.
Sun.
Yes. Yes.
This book literally does not, it's the second book in the Red Rising trilogy. It doesn't let you breathe. You don't get to breathe. You do not get to recover. You don't even get to process anything of what's happening before you're going right into the next thing. Whew. I'm exhausted thinking about it.
I can't wait to reread it. It's on my
Oh, it's-
reread list. I'm actually going to start my reread of the Red Rising after I'm done Wheel of Time, right before I go into the final book in the series. So
Mhm.
Andrew's been
I-
trying to convince me to read it. I
It's
just
so
hated the
good.
first
We
book
should.
so much.
The first book is not indicative of the series.
no,
Right,
it is
I have
not.
That's what they
agree.
tell me.
I have
It
to
is
agree.
not. I had my criticism of the first book as well.
Like I view the first book as just a prologue to the other two books.
Yeah.
100%.
Someday.
All right, Nico, you're up. Action-packed book.
So I don't have a physical copy and probably won't for some time because it got delayed. But I recently read another one of the E-arcs. I had to pull the cover up because I love
Oh,
it. Shadow of the Gods.
Oh, yes.
Shadow of
John
the
Glenn.
Gods.
I'm loving
And-
everything I'm hearing about this book. I'm serious. I'm
I
like,
love the
It-
cover.
Like the cover is beautiful and just the scale of the cover too really kind of just shows you what you're in for. But the book was so good. It was just so action packed, and it focuses on a lot less POVs than Faithful and the Fallen, so you really are in there. But you've got two different mercenary bands you follow, and then like a warrior woman, and there's constant fighting and just everything about it. It was so good. I really think I still need to finish Faithful and the Fallen and read the other ones, but I think this is going to end up being like his best ever series.
Is this-
It was so good.
is it like grimdark or is it like classic fantasy?
It's kind of like in between. It's definitely got some dark things, but I wouldn't really call it like full on grimdark.
I'd say
but
it's dark fantasy, probably.
yeah. Could
With
definitely
like
say
a
dark
little
fantasy.
bit of military, but like not modern. It's not Flintlock.
Yeah. But it's oh my gosh, it's so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Well, fantastic. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting that. I just ordered that one, so I'm really looking forward to that one. All right, so the final problem, new releases, a book that just came out or will be coming out soon that you can't wait to read. Nico.
So I am really bad at keeping track of new releases, and I'm just trying to think of something that's coming out soon. So the only thing I could think of at the time was I actually just got another E-arc that I was not expecting because apparently they waited really last minute to approve. But it's for a book called The Jasmine Throne by Tasha Suri that comes out next month. And I didn't know a ton about this, but it sounded really interesting, and it takes place with kind of like in India setting, and uses some of the kind of like Indian legends and everything with it. So something sounds pretty different and sounded pretty interesting to read. So that's one that I'm gonna have to somewhere fit it in May to get it read, which I like literally I was exporting my May TBR and then I get an email and it's like, hey, you're approved. I'm like, no, but yes. So it sounds pretty exciting. So I'm really interested to try it out.
Awesome. All right, Lezlie.
I just got approved for the E-arc for Grady Hendrix' new book, The Final Girl Support Group. So in like Flynn for that one.
All right, well, definitely we'll look forward to seeing what you think of that. All right, Andrew's Wizardly Reads.
I am looking forward to the release of The Navigator's Children, which is the third book in The Last King of Ostenard, the sequel trilogy to Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn. I love Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn. I am looking forward to doing a reread with Nico this year, which I am going to have to fit that in somehow. The last time I read it was 2015, right before a buddy read that with my uncle right before he passed. So I'm really looking forward to reading it again, and hopefully Nico doesn't die on me.
Wow, you just
I was
Make it
not
like-
expecting that. Okay.
Reading too much
But,
Grim Dark, man.
I'm sure
I-
Nico
well,
will live long enough to.
To be
join
fair,
in
this
that.
series inspired A Song of Ice and Fire.
Ah,
So
why.
yeah, Memories Are Thorn is a big, huge inspiration to A Song of Ice and Fire. So yeah, it's a joke. Nico's fine.
yeah.
All right.
well, we hope so.
Yeah, no kidding. We absolutely hope so.
But
All
yeah,
right.
I'm looking forward to that third book.
All right, Epic, you're up.
So I'm waiting for the final book of the Age of Madness trilogy. I believe it's the Beautiful Machine. So I haven't read any of the standalone books, but the idea, how I want to read it is I want to just like do nothing else, just like eat, sleep, and read the book, like from the standalones all the way down. So I've been waiting for the last book to come out so I can just like write off like 2 weeks of just like hammering the book, because I love getting into that world. I love getting into the minds of those characters so that by the time I'm done reading it, reality feels surreal. It doesn't like, what is this?
Yeah.
What is this? You know, that's how I enjoy reading books like that are good like that. So I'm just waiting for it to come out, and I'm just gonna go on a marathon, on a readathon.
Oh, that I love reading series that are almost complete or already complete, just so I can read them all at the same time.
Yes.
That's always good when you can do that. But I also can't wait to buy the books in the series I'm enjoying, even if it's not complete. I mean, Stormlight Archive is an example of that. I'm not waiting till all 10 are done to buy it. No way.
Oh, you'd be waiting 30 years.
I know, right? So
Isn't he taking a 5-year gap?
Yeah.
I think so, 5 or 10 years or something like that.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna be buying
only
the
gonna
last
be,
Stormlight
like-
Archives with my social security check.
Hey guys, it's Sanderson, so it's only going to be like 17 more years, not 39.
Yeah.
Well, so we've got 3 years, then we got a 5-year gap, so that's 8 years, and then we got
He's
another
writing his
15
other
years. So we got
series.
23 years until the series is done.
Yeah, because he's like gonna be writing his other series. Plus, he's got the TV series that he signed off on. So
What TV series?
I
Mistborn.
can't remember. Yeah, the Final Empire.
I
They're
remember,
adapting.
I remember reading on that. He was unhappy with the scripts and the screenplay for it, so he basically said, "That's it. I'm writing it myself."
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I mean,
That-
is
Is it going to be animated?
Oh, I
He
hope not. I
probably-
want live action on it.
I mean, he probably
he
wrote
seems-
the screenplay overnight or on his lunch break.
He's probably writing it on his phone.
Did y'all watch the Daniel Green little skit that he did with Brandon Sanderson, or where he's like interviewing Brandon Sanderson? He's like, "Hey, you're making us all look bad," and he's got his buddy playing Brandon Sanderson, and he's just,
Yeah,
"Are
That's
you
like-
writing a book on your phone?" No.
like 6 months ago or so. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Yeah, I did see that. That was a funny one. So for me, books that I'm looking forward to that I really want, I'm going to have to go with the Fires of Vengeance on this one because that one is a pre-order, so it's technically not released in paperback yet. So I'm going to count that as an impending release, even though technically the hardcover's out. That is one I'm really looking forward to because I've heard so much about that series, and I'm really looking forward to getting into it. And I have no doubt I'm going to enjoy it and love it. And those that say they're wrong, well, those that didn't like it, maybe they're all wrong, right? But I think I'm gonna really enjoy that one. Also, as an honorable mention, I just want to mention Stormlight 5. This is not a soon release. We know it's going to be a while, but you could bet that I
cheating,
am
dang
highly
it.
Yeah, that's like
anticipating it.
over a year.
That is,
Yeah, I am totally highly
you know what?
anticipating
Mistborn
it.
Era 4 or Era 2, Book 4.
Yeah, there.
I'm gonna say it
That-
right now.
that
I'm
should be
looking forward to
coming
that
before
one,
too
but I wouldn't
long.
say eagerly anticipating. But I'm definitely going to buy it once it's out.
Winds of Winter.
I mean, that's about as far away from like a near release.
You know what? Doors of Stone.
Yeah,
I-
well,
I'm
why
really
not
looking.
those ones,
I'm really
right?
looking forward to hell freezing over.
Right.
Stormlight 10. Well, Reddit, let's just throw Stormlight 10 out there.
Wheel of
Yeah.
Time 15.
2044.
There we go. All right, so there you have it. There is the Netflix book tag. Thank you so much for joining us today. This has been a lot of fun and a lot of new book recommendations from everyone here on the stream. Thank you so much to all of you for joining me on this. This has been a lot of fun. I've never done a live stream like this. The first time I've had guests on my channel. So thank you so much for joining us. I'm glad you could all make it. And that was fun. We gotta maybe do this again sometime. And
100%, 100%. Like, just hit me up. You already know, man. I'm down. Like, I'm actually. This is also my first live stream. Like Andrew, like mentioned how he's a new booktuber. I'm even newer than him. I'm like just over a month and a half, maybe. So like, I love meeting these guys. Like joining their, like, you guys should join the Wizardly Duo Discord. It's such like a dope place to like meet people that like are really interested in talking about books. Like Drew has a Discord channel as well. I have a Discord channel as well.
So does Lezlie.
And
Yeah.
Lezlie, oh wow, Lezlie,
Yeah,
you need to
Lezlie.
send me
Yeah.
an invite. What is this?
I'm in like 12. Well, I'm in several that you're in, Epic. So
Oh, okay.
I get confused where I'm at.
I do
when
too.
I'm
All
talking
the
to
time.
people.
Like I'll see a message and I'll click on it and I'm like, oh god, where am I?
I'll drop the link. I'll
Yeah.
drop the link to everyone's Discord. I'll update the description with everyone's Discord after the stream. So definitely join in there. Go like, comment, subscribe to everyone here on the stream. Everybody here has some awesome content. I might be biased, but I think my channel's the best. But I'm biased.
Listen, we all know who has the best channel, and it's going to be Lezlie.
It's true.
Aw.
It's true. Leslie's got
Like,
some pretty
just
awesome content.
Look at her lighting, man. Like that's just like,
So
my
I
God.
cannot take credit for it. My husband like arranged my bookshelves and decorated and set up like lighting and cameras and microphones. I anything look wise you see, he did. I mean, I did
Is
my
he?
makeup.
Or rent.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Well, awesome. All right. So, like, comment, subscribe. I know Lezlie has a Patreon, so if you want to support what she does, head on over to her channel. She's got the links in her videos. I've got my Patreon link below as well. If you want to support what I'm doing here, always definitely appreciate it. 100%, never a requirement. My content will always be free. And thanks so much for joining us. And we'll see you next time on the next episode of Drew's Book Reviews. Until then, keep on reading. Bye.
Bye.
Stay epic.
Stay magical.